What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a bunch of interesting topics for you guys that I missed during the week or that recently dropped, so I wanted to get into that. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Now let's go ahead and first start off with the impossible sales numbers that the Nintendo Switch is putting up in its 6th year on the market. Now in Japan, for the past 4 weeks, I have calculated the sales numbers, and this is something that nobody is talking about out there in the content creation space or really even on the Twitter space when we heard so much about the Nintendo Switch potentially dipping in sales a number of weeks ago. So in the past 4 weeks, from the Famitsu in Japan, the Nintendo Switch has sold 514,840 units. It sold over 500,000 units in Japan by itself in the last 4 weeks. That is absolutely incredible, and one of the best 4-week stretches that Nintendo has had ever in the history of the system, despite it being a 6 calendar year system, 5 years plus on the actual market. That is just nuts. That is impossible for a system this old to do, and not a lot of people are talking about that. And I think it's because people are kind of tired of the Nintendo Switch and they want to see what's next, and they feel that the sales will interfere with something coming out next. But I don't think that's the case. Nintendo has an actual solid set plan for what they're going to do next with the next Nintendo Switch, the next gen Switch, and the Nintendo Switch itself is just riding out its last legs. Nintendo has a software pipeline of next generation software that they are currently preparing for this next generation Switch, like they talked about in the investors meeting where they discussed $1 billion investment into software. That was not all just into Nintendo Switch software, that was also into next gen Switch software. So I think that we're going to see something next year in 2023, then maybe a launch in 2024, very similarly to how they did it with the Nintendo Switch, where they announced it in 2016, or at least they revealed it in 2016, and then it launched in early 2017. So I feel that the Nintendo Switch is going to be more like the PlayStation 2 was than the Nintendo Wii was. And what I mean by that the PlayStation 2 actually sold well even after the PlayStation 3 came out, whereas the Wii, the sales flatlined before the Nintendo Wii U came out, during the Wii U, and afterwards. I mean, the sales were pretty much done for the Wii. I think the Switch is going to continue being popular to some degree even after the next Switch comes out, because it's just such a revolutionary device for when it came out and the software that it has. So very impressive on that front. So what do you guys think about the Nintendo Switch and this impossible thing? I've never really seen a system do this well this many years after its launch. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys, we've got some updated sales numbers for Digimon Survive. The game has reached a huge milestone of 500,000 units sold, and it hasn't even been a year yet. Very good for this type of game. So total shipments and digital sales for Digimon Survive have surpassed 800,000 units, according to Bandai Namco and developer Hyde. Now, Digimon Survive launched for the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch on July 28th in Japan, and the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam July 29th worldwide. Now, there was a lot of confusion about this game because it was delayed so many times over and over. And what style of game is this? Is it a strategy RPG? Is it a visual novel? Like, what's going on with this game? But ultimately, they had a live stream, they discussed it, and they said it's about, I think, 30% strategy RPG, 70% visual novel, something like that. So there's a lot of talking in this game, there's a lot of story in this game, there's a lot of hard decisions to make in this game. It's a very unique and it's a good game. Digimon fans are liking this, and obviously they're happy about the sales numbers here. And it's funny because it came after the Black Friday weekend, where I stupidly, before Black Friday really started and everything, bought the game for $40 because it was a little bit of a rare game on the Nintendo Switch. People were having trouble finding copies, and then Black Friday comes around and it's $17 and it sells out everywhere. And then all of a sudden now we have this where they say, hey, thank you, 500,000 units sold. So those Black Friday sales definitely helped, and I think that the game is going to go on to be a million seller. on the Nintendo Switch back when it launched. It was actually in the MPD, which is really good, and on the Nintendo Switch charts for MPD. So you know that it was selling decently enough for that, and it did well on the eShop when it first launched. It'd be interesting to see the sales breakdown, but I'm almost positive that a lot of that is on the Nintendo Switch, probably a good majority of it. So very good to see Digimon Survive do well. What do you guys think about the sales numbers here? Do you think that we could see a Digimon Survive 2 because of it? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys, we've got another one of those impossible ports heading over to the Nintendo Switch. Yes, the newest one. It's been a little bit of time since we got one of these, but it's happening. And I think we've covered it before, but there's a new rating, and that is Borderlands 3. So the 2019 looter shooter is seemingly set for the Nintendo Switch. So Pan-European Game Information has rated a Switch version of Borderlands 3. The Switch version was rated across all existing editions of the game, including its downloadable content. You guys are seeing everything here. So it looks like it's going to be a Borderlands Game of the Year edition, complete edition for the Nintendo Switch. Now, Borderlands 3 is already available, of course, for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, PC via Steam, Epic Game Store. We have not gotten an official announcement for Borderlands 3 on the Nintendo Switch from 2K or Gearbox. However, Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, and then like the Handsome Jack collection or whatever, that one in between, the pre-sequel, there's some Borderlands games already on there, and they play pretty decently on the Nintendo Switch. You get a 720p, I think dynamic or something, 30 frames per second. So it's not a horrible playing version of Borderlands, and it's a portable version of Borderlands as well. For a looter shooter like this, it might be fun to kind of hop in there and play every now and then. Maybe if you're away from home, you want to play lying down in bed, you don't have a Steam Deck or something, I think that Borderlands 3 could be a cool game to play. Now, I used to be in love with this franchise. I loved Borderlands 1. I played that when I was in college. Borderlands 2 after I graduated. I thought it was fun. I did get burnt out on it because there's just so much micromanaging with weapons and everything, and I think that's the next thing for the Borderlands franchise, to figure that out. But I think that'd be cool for Nintendo Switch players to be able to get a chance to play a game like this on the go on the Nintendo Switch. And I think that Borderlands 1 and 2, the collections, whatever they had on Switch, did pretty well, did okay enough, and this has been rumored now for quite some time. We've seen ratings in other parts, so I think that Borderlands 3 is definitely going to be coming. I mean, it is multiple years late at this point, going on like 4 years late or something, but hey, better late than never, and once again, just offers another option for people to be able to play the game, so that's not a bad thing at all. So what are your thoughts on Borderlands 3 getting rated for the Nintendo Switch? Again, let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys, we do have an announcement of a release date for Helvetii, which is a side-scrolling action game that actually looks kind of cool. So, side-scrolling action game Helvetii will launch for the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam on February 3rd, 2023. Developer Team Quaqua, and I probably mispronounced a lot of stuff here, or at least that name, has announced. Now, there will be physical editions of the game. You can pre-order it at Red Art Games. That would be pretty cool to get a physical edition of a game like this. Now, if you don't know about Helvetii, let's talk about it, because it's a 2D action roguelike game revolving on exploring ancient mythology and history of the Gaulish Helvetii tribes, as well as Celtic and other mythos from various cultures, and adapting them in challenging, fast-paced modern action with a beautiful art style. And that's what drew me to actually talk about this game. I love the art style, I love the colors, I love the way that this game is kind of just moving on screen. It looks really cool, and once again, you can take control of various characters in this game. You have a fierce young war chief, you have a dexterous fox turned man, you have all these different things that you can take advantage of in the game and kind of change and play as. A bunch of different weapons and everything. You know, it's a roguelike, so you're gonna have to have a lot of different weapons to get through everything here, and the combat comes in many different forms, shapes, and ways. So I think this game is gonna be solid when it releases early 2023. So what are your thoughts on Helvetii for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Steam? Is this the type of game that you'd want to pick up? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. Disney Speedstorm has been delayed to 2023. This is a game that actually looks kind of good. Now, it's a free-to-play game, you know, so you also have to put up your guard a little bit on that. And it's Disney, it's a licensed game, but from a graphics perspective and what they showed as a racing game, it actually looks pretty fun. So Gameloft has delayed free-to-play racing game Disney Speedstorm from its previously planned 2022 release window to 2023. It will be available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam, Epic Games Store, and the Microsoft Store. So it's on everything. Now, here is the full message, or here is some of the message from Gameloft on the delay of the game, because it's important that we know exactly why it's being delayed. Now, we have been working diligently to craft an amazing racing experience for Disney Speedstorm, capturing our vision of the excellent magic fans enjoy in their favorite Disney and Pixar characters and games. We want fans to not only be entertained, but to enjoy a fast-paced competitive racing experience they will return to play for years to come. With this in mind, and after careful consideration, we have decided to delay the worldwide release of Disney Speedstorm to meet our expectations and provide players with a more immersive racing experience, customization offerings, game modes, and more. Fans are invited to join us on the Speedway when Disney Speedstorm launches in 2023 on PC and consoles. We appreciate all of the feedback and support we've received from fans who participated in the beta earlier this year and our followers on social. We plan to keep fans up to speed on our progress with regular updates on these features as we head toward launch. So stay tuned for more over the next several weeks. We'd like to thank our community for their invaluable feedback and can't wait for you to see what the team has been working hard to bring you. So that is from the team. And I think I remember this game actually being at a Nintendo Direct or being revealed at one or whatever. So it kind of got people excited about being able to use their favorite Disney characters and zip along a track, especially with the game looking as good as it did. So I think that if they need to delay the game to get the game better, that's no problem. Disney Speedstorm is not an essential release in any type of way, shape, or form. So I really don't think that there's a need to rush it out in 2022 when 2022 is pretty much already done. What's the point of getting it out? And it's a free-to-play game, so it's not like you're putting it in retail and you're selling boxed copies in that type of way. So there's no need for like the holiday. Whenever it drops and people will pick it up and play. So I think that it was a smart decision to delay it and make sure that it launches in a better state so you don't lose momentum. Because one thing with free-to-play games, guys, if you launch and it's not great at the beginning, you can lose your player base in a hurry. Ask Babylon's Fall about that, right? So you need to make sure that when you launch, everything is ready to go for the most part if you're an up-and-coming type of game or a new style of game. Yes, if you're Overwatch or Fortnite, that's a bit different. You have that clout, but a game like Disney Speedstorm, you got to make sure that you launch it and there isn't those issues. So I think that they saw things from the beta and said, all right, let's turn it around here. So what do you guys think about this delay? Are you upset? Are you okay with it? What's going on? Are you excited for the game? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys. Tales of Symphonia Remastered gets a brand new story trailer. Yes, I'm excited not necessarily to play this game again, but I'm excited for something else, which you will know at the very end of this. So, legend says that the Chosen One will one day ascend the Tower of Salvation and save a dying world. Bandai Namco has released the official story trailer for Tales of Symphonia Remastered. So let's talk about this, because this has been a little bit of a controversial game as you guys are checking out this awesome story trailer. So this game is apparently remastered, right? You have some remastered graphics and visuals, HD. It's going to look good, fixes some bugs or some glitches, some issues that was with the other versions of the game. However, the original GameCube release of this game was in 60 frames per second on the GameCube, and you could play up to 4 players as well on that GameCube, which was a pretty cool thing back then in the early mid 2000s. I'll be honest, I played the game with my friends until they just couldn't stomach the game anymore because they weren't big RPG guys like myself, but I thought it was epic to be able to play an RPG with your friends because it reminded me back in the day of like Secret of Mana. You know, you don't see a lot of RPGs where you can do that. You can explore and you can play together going forward before, you know, MMOs aren't all that, right? So this was cool, right? This was really cool. 60 frames per second. Now you have this remastered version and it's cut down to 30 frames per second. Now it's gonna look better, it's gonna play good, but it's not as good in terms of fluidity as the GameCube version, which came out 20 years ago or something like that, right? So that's the big controversy with this game. Now, why am I still excited for it or to get it, even though I'm not necessarily going to be playing it because I've already beat it a number of times? Well, it's because it's going to be collectors. I think that this game, physical on the Nintendo Switch, 10 years from now will be like extinct or something like that, right? So I think it'll be worth quite a bit for collectors out there. So that's the reason why I'm covering this game, and that's the reason why I'm going to get the game, because I think it's going to be worth something in the future, as Tales of Symphonia is, to me, the best Tales game of all time, or at least right up there, like in the top 3 Tales games. It's such a great game. It's iconic, and I think that that's where it really broke out with the 1,000,000 units and everything. So that's the reason why I'm going to be getting this game, and I'm excited for the release just to see how things are. But outside of that, what do you guys think about it? What do you think about the 30 frames per second thing? Are you still going to pick up the game or not? How do you feel about it? I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell. We will see you for the next video. Peace.